What's up, folks? I'm here to give you my review of The Weeknd's new album, Beauty Behind the Madness. So can somebody tell me where The Weeknd came from? Like, no, I know he's been around. He's been around for like 4 years now, but like, how did he blow up so big? I mean, in 2011, he had some mixtapes, he had some like pre-albums that he had that were really good, but nobody knew who The Weeknd was. I mean, I vividly remember even for like almost a year, I didn't even know what the dude looked like. Come to find out, he has this crazy hairstyle. But no, seriously, folks, The Weeknd has blew up essentially out of nowhere. But you know what? He did it all through himself. Everything he did was really intelligent and really smart and really strategic to get his name out there. So here we are, Beauty Behind the Madness, technically his third studio album. And where's The Weeknd right now in the center of pop culture? He's basically juggling this place between being a pop star, like an extremely huge pop star, and still being that small, relatively unknown artist he used to be back in 2011. But truth be told, he's a pop star. He's completely crossed over at this point. So I mean, he had the trilogy. He had, you know, Echoes of Silence, House of Balloons. He had those albums which really caught on and had a strong fan base. Then he kind of cooled off with that first album, Kissland, whatever it was. Didn't really do too hot. I mean, it sold a few, you know, 100,000 copies, whatever. Wasn't the greatest thing he ever put out. But then he started doing some really strategic stuff. For example, he started to go on tour with other artists like Schoolboy Q, who were also making their rise in their name in the hip-hop and R&B industry. And then he found himself, you know, on a few different soundtracks for different movies and different projects, so he was starting to get his name out there more. But then he did the ultimate thing. He put his song, Earned It, on the 50 Shades of Grey soundtrack. It was the lead single for the movie. And we all know how big that movie was when it came out earlier this year. It made tons of money, way more money than anybody ever expected, and it made The Weeknd a crossover pop culture superstar. So here we are, it's September, The Weeknd's album has been released. A lot of people have heard it, a lot of people are liking it, so here's my review. For starters, I really do like the album. I think it's a really well-constructed, well-put-together album. It still retains that dark and mysterious production that he had in his first few projects, but then it also, you know, kind of ventures into pop territory. I mean, we've all heard The Hills and Can't Feel My Face at these points. Those are the lead singles, and, you know, Can't Feel My Face is like him as Michael Jackson reincarnated. Like, he really embodies the spirit and essence of Michael Jackson. Now, is he Michael Jackson? No, nobody's Michael Jackson. Nobody will ever be Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson is the king of pop. We already know this. But The Weeknd does a job of capturing that spirit, that 80s pop sound that we don't hear too much today. So like I said, you still get that real drugged out cocaine sense of music on The Weeknd's project, but he still, you know, kind of does some crossover, you know, some pop friendly songs that people can really relate to. So I think there's something for multiple audiences here. But truth be told, I had to take a break from The Weeknd because he was releasing some music and it was just making me really sad and really depressed, and I just didn't want to really hear that. But I can say that I can listen to this album and enjoy it and not be depressed or sad or anything. It's an enjoyable listen. But you can tell he's trying to really recreate the sound of R&B right now. Like, R&B hasn't really had a distinct sound in the past few years. It's kind of been dead. But The Weeknd is really creating his own lane in the industry. Plus, again, nobody has hair like this dude. Like, I don't even know how he got that tree trunk on his head, like how he made it look like that. It's crazy. I mean, I had pretty cool hair, but not like The Weeknd's, but that's besides the point. So when I listen to Beauty Behind the Madness, it's like a horror story mixed with a love story, mixed with romanticism, mixed with like dark comedy in a sense. It's like dark pop, you know. It's just like all sorts of sounds that I'm listening to in this music. You know, there was a time in the 80s that, you know, artists were making like dark pop, you know, and he's really like embodying that on this album. And he, like I said, he's creating his own lane, he's creating his own sound, something that's just not being heard too much from other artists now. And you know, he has a really incredible voice. Like, he can actually sing. He's very talented. You know, sometimes his voice sounds a little angelic, sometimes it sounds kind of like he's crooning. Like, it's a bunch of different ways he can like embellish and change up his voice alterations. He has a little bit of range with that, and that helps out the fluidity and the variety of the album. When you listen to his music, there's like this certain element of like beauty, but it's like a sick, twisted beauty, because he sings about some nasty, twisted, kind of really crazy things. Like I said, it's really kind of drugged up music sometimes. You know, he did that a lot in his earlier work, and he's still kind of doing that, but then he's also venturing into talking about really, you know, sensitive topics. He's really talking about love sometimes, and like, it's just all kind of wrapped into this madness, Beauty Behind the Madness. Like, it's like that juxtaposition, you know, of sounds and ideas and everything. So it's really kind of cool to listen to it and explore that. You know, that's what makes him different. He's a unique artist in himself. He talks about some things that people typically don't talk about. He's a little rawer and edgier than most other R&B artists are now, so you gotta appreciate that. You know, he's really dealing with this duality. You know, he grew up in Toronto, never left Toronto for a really long time, for like 20, 21 years, and now he's a pop culture phenomenon, so that duality comes out on the album. How does someone who never left their hometown and only knew what they were coming from come to being a person who's now known by everybody in the world because everybody knows who this guy is. I mean, he's finna go on tour. He's been on really high grossing tours. He has the #1 songs in the country. He's really hot. He's been making performances. He is just out there. He has some of the coolest, videos. Every now and then are kind of weird for me, but still pretty cool. So The Weeknd is really just out there. He's really branded himself as this unique new R&B artist. It's fresh, it's invigorating. Gotta give the guy his props. Not to mention just his, his pure level of talent. Like I said, he can sing. He produces a good amount of songs on the album, so he's really versatile in that aspect. He also has some other people come in and produce. He has Kanye West on the album producing. He has very few features on it, so it's really about him. Lana is on the album, which complements him really well. But he does so much work on his own, he doesn't really need other people to be in his lane. The Weeknd for the past year or two has been contributing to other people's lanes. If you listen to all the hip hop albums that have come out, he's been on everything. So again, this man has been strategic about getting his name out there. So it's really just time for him to decide, am I gonna be this huge pop superstar, which he really already is, or am I just gonna be this, not well-known artist but still stick true to who I am and sing about the things that I wanna sing about? But, I guess we'll see. We'll find out. Overall, Beauty Behind the Madness is a really good album. It's really solid. It's some of his best work to date. Gotta give it a 7.6 out of 10. I think it's good. Go check it out if you have not. Alright, folks. Thanks for sticking with me. That's all I got for my review of Beauty Behind the Madness from The Weeknd. Again, go check it out. As always, follow me on social media, JRW the Creator, on Twitter and Instagram. And then go check out my website, jordanrwilliams.com. That's jordanrwilliams.com. And then check me out on Movie Pilot. I love movies, if you have not already been able to tell. moviepilot.com/jordanrwilliams. I will see y'all next time. I got a review of Rodeo coming up from Travis Scott, so make sure you check that out on my YouTube channel. Peace out.